So the theme of today's class is potatoes, baked potatoes and baked French fries, and then the toppings and the sauces that we can use with them, because we can always use more toppings and sauces, right? If you want to find the recipes, they're all on my website, straightupfood.com. They're all on there. Or if you have the Straight Up Food cookbook, you can look there as well. And as I'm doing each one, I'll tell you what page they're on. But yeah, check out the Straight Up Food cookbook. If you don't have one of these yet, and you're interested, it's on Amazon, it's on my website. It's a great cookbook. It it lays nice and flat, which is wonderful. It's got a nice spiral binding, lots of nice color photos. Whoop, on that side. So there is the cookbook. I'll set it on the cat tree here for now. Okay, so what we're going to make today is I've got some baked potatoes and some French fries in the oven already. The timer's going to go off in about 7 minutes and I'll take those out. But in the meantime, we're going to start some of our sauces. So we're going to make a barbecue sauce today. We're going to make a ketchup. We're going to make an avocado garbanzo dip slash spread wonderful thing. And then we're going to make a black bean salsa. So good. And there's so many different things that you can do with all these sauces and dips and spreads and all of that. So we'll talk more about that. But and then I'll check the comments periodically. I do have a friend helping me moderate, so if you have a technical question or, you know, how much was that, they'll be looking out for that. But I will be checking my comments every so often over here on my cat tree. Hi Kathy, hi Debbie, hi Sandy. Okay. And if you have to cut out on this video early, it will be on my Facebook page for replay. It will be on my YouTube channel, so check those out. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is make the barbecue sauce. And I'm going to do this first because I like to simmer it a little in my saucepan. So we're going to get that going first, put it on the stovetop, and then we'll continue with the other things. All right, and for this we're going to use the Vitamix. And all of these recipes today are super, super easy. It's just put everything in a bowl, put everything in the Vitamix. Pretty darn easy. I have all my ingredients here. This is a Vitamix, a high-powered blender, which I love. This is my newish Vitamix. I got it in red because red's my favorite color. And then I also have my little small blender, which I will use a little bit later. So for the barbecue sauce, usually in barbecue sauce there's things in there like caramel coloring, a lot of sugar, and just stuff that's not so good for us. So we're going to make a barbecue sauce that uses all wholesome, whole food ingredients here. And we're going to start with 1.5 cups of water into the Vitamix. Oh, and I'm going to be checking my recipe just to make sure I'm going in the right order. Then we're going to do 1 can of salt-free, no salt added tomato paste. And tomato paste is just concentrated tomatoes, cooked tomatoes. This is a 6-ounce can. You want to use the whole can. If you're averse to using cans, you can find tomato paste in jars, in tubes. Sometimes people ask me if they can make barbecue sauce or ketchup without tomato paste, and I'm not real sure how you would do that. It's kind of a key ingredient here. Where's my spoon rest? I'll just do that. So this just has tomatoes as the ingredients, organic tomato pulp and a little citric acid for preserving it. Now I have my other example tomato paste here that doesn't have the best ingredients if you want to eat a plant-based whole foods diet. So I will read you the ingredients from this one. This one just has tomatoes and a little citric acid. This one has Roma tomato puree, sea salt, dried onion, soybean oil, spices, Romano cheese made from cow's milk, citric acid, garlic powder, and natural flavors. So this has dairy in it, it's got oil in it, it's got salt in it. So just be sure to read your labels when you're buying even something as innocent looking as tomato paste. All right, next we're going to put in a 1/2 cup of cooked black beans. These are just these Whole Foods brand, no salt added black beans. So a half cup, you don't want to add the whole can or box, just a half cup. And that's going to add to that really nice, deep, dark barbecue sauce color. And it's going to add to the flavor as well. All right, after the black beans, we're going to add some raisins, because if you've ever had barbecue sauce, you know it's a little bit sweet. So this is a 1/4 cup of brown raisins. And when you're buying your raisins, you want to make sure that they don't have oil on them. Whether it's in the bulk bin or you're buying them from a box, read that label and just make sure there's no oil on them. That seems to be something that they're doing more lately, I think, to make them look pretty or so that they don't stick together. So just look for the ones that don't have oil on them. All right, we're going to do 2 tablespoons of mustard for that little zing. And this is the mustard I usually use. It's a Westbury Natural Stone Ground Organic Mustard, no salt added. This is a little tricky to find in the stores. I usually just buy it online and get 4 at a time or 8 at a time because I love mustard. We're going to go 2 tablespoons of that. These are my magnetic measuring spoons that I always like to show in my classes because they stick together. And they also have 2 ends, which is nice. If you cook a lot and one's dirty, you still have a clean one. And whenever I'm measuring mustard, I always dip my measuring spoon into the liquid, and then it slides off a little bit easier. So 2 tablespoons of the mustard. And then we're going to do some dried herbs and spices. 1 teaspoon of chili powder. This is a mild chili powder. If you want a hotter chili powder, go right on ahead and use a hot, spicy one. And then we have a 3/4 teaspoon dried onion and dried garlic. And that is it. So we're just going to blend it all together. Just like barbecue sauce. Now if you want to eat this right now, just then, that's totally fine. What most recipes do, there's my timer, I'll get that in a sec, is they simmer it a little bit. It just helps meld the flavors a little bit better. It darkens the color even a little bit. All right. So I'm going to put this on the stove. I'm just going to put it on simmer. I am going to put the lid on it because it does that thing that spaghetti sauce does. It just splatters all over if you don't put the lid on it, even if it's on low. So I'm going to put this on a low simmer. Put the lid on. And let me check on my potatoes in the oven. Those are the fries, they're looking good. I think we can give them a little longer. All right, so we'll come back to those. Hey Ray, I do have a lapel mic. Never would have thought of raisins. I have a lapel mic, but it's right here. Maybe I need to move it up a little if you guys can't hear me very well. This is the first time using it, so I will find my best spot for it. Yeah, that is a great tip about the mustard sliding off. I love that one. What brand is that good tomato paste? Yeah, it's the Whole Foods 365 brand, but you can find this type of tomato paste with no salt added pretty easily in any brand. Hi Linda Dykes. Hi Gwen. Yeah, red is my favorite color. Wishing I could hear better. Well, maybe I could move my mic up and we'll see if that helps a little bit. We're learning as we're going. So maybe that's being a little closer to my mouth will help out a bit. Ray, you're so nice. All right, Tim Shaley. Hi, Tim. Okay, so let me go back down. I like to just check in on my comments there. Whoop, and then they jump. You sound great. Can hear you fine. Okay, good, good. Bio Nature is the best tomato paste and comes in a jar. Yeah, Bio Nature is a really good brand. It comes in a little jar, so you can look for that as well. Okay, so let's move on to the next item, which is ketchup. So I'm going to move my Vitamix a little bit to the side. And also, well, we'll talk about that later, what I do with all these different toppings, how I use them. So next we're going to do ketchup. And I'm going to use my TryBest personal blender here. This is on my website at straightupfood.com in my little store. If you want to find it, if you want to go to their website, TryBest, you can. They have all different packages and types, and they have glass and they have plastic. And but I love this blender. I love having a little blender, and I like having the big, powerful blender. Between the two, I'm covered. Now, if you already have a NutriBullet or some other brand of small blender, go right on ahead and use that. I've never used anything but this. I'm quite happy with it. I tell people if they have something and it breaks and they want to try something new, try the TryBest, T-R-I-B-E-S-T. It's a great little blender. It also comes with small cups. This is the grinding blade, which I use to grind my flax seeds. It's just a great blender. Okay, so let me get my ketchup stuff together here. Ketchup is so easy. So making it yourself is the way to go. If you buy it in the store, it's going to be loaded with salt, it's going to be loaded with sugar, and we don't want that in our precious bodies. So let's just make it ourselves. And let me go by them in the same order so I don't confuse. So 3/4 cup water to start. Then instead of refined sugar, we're going to put in 1/2 of an apple. I already have the apple cut up here. It doesn't matter exactly the measurement, just 1/2 of an apple. You can leave the skin on, you can peel it off. I left mine on because it's a red apple and ketchup is red, so it doesn't really matter. And a lot of people like to use the peel because it's nutritious. So we're going to add our 1/2 of an apple in there. Again with the tomato paste, 1 can of any brand, no salt added tomato paste. And I usually fill this container up all the way for this. But making it in the Vitamix, it's not quite enough volume, so. All right, so we have our tomato paste. We're going to put in a little bit of apple cider vinegar. Any brand, this is Bragg's, 1 tablespoon. Yes. All right. And then last, we're going to put a little dried spices. So this is a 1/4, I can't even read that, dried oregano, 1/2 teaspoon, a 1/4 teaspoon dried garlic. If you want to use fresh garlic, you could. But I like the dried for this. It's just a kind of a calmer garlic flavor. You know how fresh garlic is zing! This is a little on the down low, you know. All right, so we're going to screw on our blade. This is a really low-tech machine. You just line it up and press down. can see that it's kind of like a layer here and a layer here. So about halfway through, I give it a good shake because there's a lot of volume in there. So this just kind of helps it blend up in there. And then we'll do it again. So whenever I'm blending anything, I like to take a look at it, see if it's too thick, in which case I could add a little bit of water. This does look a tiny bit thick, so let me add just a touch of water. This also freezes very well, so you can make this much, you can double it, you can freeze half, and it keeps in the refrigerator for quite a while, maybe like a week or two. All right. So there is our ketchup. I'm not going to put it all in the bowl, but there it is. And as it sits, it gets a little bit darker in color. So we can check that a little bit later. Because I think if it's a little darker in color, it looks a little bit more like traditional ketchup. How easy is that, right? Well, I use this on French fries. You can use it on your hash browns, your veggie burgers. Same with the barbecue sauce. Can be used with all of those things on top of your baked potato. I don't usually put ketchup on my baked potato, but I do with my fries. You could. Do you guys put ketchup on your baked potatoes? Why not? We put it on our French fries. All right. So maybe I'll just leave that one there. Okay, I'm doing so good keeping clean today. And I like to remember what my mom told me once when she sat in one of my classes afterwards. She came up to me and she said, you know, I clean as I go. And that always stuck in my head and it made me chuckle and it worked. So now I always remember to try to clean as I go. Let me check my French fries. Oh, they're looking good. Let me take those out. Check my baked potato. Let me poke my baked potato. Ooh. Oh yeah, that is done. Okay. It's supposed to be 93 degrees here today in Northern California. So it's real nice having, being in an enclosed kitchen with a really hot oven right now. Just, I'm feeling nice and warm. Okay. So let's come back to those. Let's just leave those there for a sec. I'll let them cool down a little. I'll come back to those. All right. So that was the ketchup, which is on page 152 of the cookbook. And before that was the barbecue sauce, which is on page 151 of the cookbook. And now we're going to do the Avocado Garbanzo Dip, which is on page 156 of the cookbook. So let me get all my ingredients for that out, and they are back here. Just check my comments, see if everybody's happy. Yes, barbecue sauce is really good with baked potatoes in particular. And people always say, well, what do you use if you don't use butter, or you don't use sour cream or your bacon. We're just so used to using those things. We don't think about all of the other things that we could put on top of a baked potato that are so delicious. I could eat baked potatoes every day. Oh, you do? Jenny puts ketchup on her baked potato. I'm sure it'd be delicious. I don't know why I don't ever do that. Oh yeah, and there's the Try Best Personal Blender that got posted. What kind of mini blender? Yeah, the Try Best Personal Blender. Okay. All right. Garlic on the down low. I missed the first part. Yeah, you guys can definitely watch this again. It'll be on my Facebook page in the video section. It'll be on my YouTube channel. I'm just getting going with my YouTube channel, so if you feel like supporting me, please go search Straight Up Food at YouTube and follow me there. I just got to 1,000 subscribers, so thank you for the people who've already followed me there. Okay, oh, and let me check my barbecue sauce. Okay, that looks really good. I'm going to go ahead and turn it off and just let it calm down for a minute. So, avocado garbanzo dip. This is amazing on baked potatoes. You could eat it with French fries. You could put it in like a corn tortilla with some beans and put this like instead of guacamole. Oh, so delicious. Okay, so this is a kind of a one bowl thing too, but we are going to start with, I wonder if this is the best bowl. We'll see. We'll see. So we're going to start with 1 can of garbanzo beans, and we do want to smash them. We don't want them whole. If you want to leave yours whole, you could, certainly. They're drained and rinsed. They are cooked. This is what I'm using, this canned garbanzo beans. If you wanted to make your own garbanzo beans from scratch, you could totally do that. But sometimes it's just nice to use from the can, and whenever I am using canned beans, I try to get the best possible organic, salt-free product that I can. And this is a Westbury Natural brand, and I really like their packaged stuff. So I don't use a ton of packaged foods, but whenever I do buy them, I try to get them as healthy as possible, as few ingredients as possible. All right, so there's the 1 can drained and rinsed. We're gonna put it in our bowl. So we wanna smash these up. You can use a fork. That would take a little longer, but it's totally doable. Just smash them in there. If you don't wanna use a fork and you wanna be fancy, you can use this bean smasher. Now it's not a potato masher. This is a potato masher. See the difference? Smashing beans with this wouldn't work. It's too far apart. So see how those little holes are so tiny? This works really well for beans. It also works well for making guacamole, anything that's kind of soft that you want to smash. So, and it's a good workout for your arm, but you got to make sure you even it out and do this arm too, because that's what they teach us in exercise class. All right. And it does kind of want to stick on there, so just whoop, scrape it off if you need to. Okay. Now I imagine this would taste pretty darn good with any kind of bean. If you only had cannellini beans or navy beans or black beans, that would probably taste really good too. But I like the garbanzo beans. Okay, so once you get them smashed up, we're gonna add in everything else. So 2 large avocados. Look at that, I'm getting messy. All right. So here are 2 large avocados. I've already cut them, diced them in the skin, so I'm just going to spoon them out. And this last one I didn't cut yet because I wanted to show you how to do it, just in case somebody was wondering. Now, some people, when they take the pits out of avocados, they go, and then they turn it. That's one way. I do that sometimes, but it seems kind of scary to me. So I just put the tip there and I just poke it out. Sometimes around the end here, it gets a little funky and there's that little button there, and sometimes it ends up in the food, so I will just trim off that little end so I don't have to worry about that. Now with your knife, and you want to leave it on the cutting board, you don't want to hold it in your hand just in case your knife goes through the skin. So just go all one direction, about 1/4 inch apart, turn it, go the other direction, and there we go. So next, we are going to put in some red onion. This is about 1/4 cup finely chopped red onion. If you only had a white onion or you only had some green onions or scallions, you could use those too. But the red onion is kind of pretty, so it's about 1/4 cup. Next, we're going to do a little bit of lemon juice, which I already have measured here. Yummy. And then again with the mustard, about 1 tablespoon. If you're a person that doesn't like mustard, just leave the mustard out. It'll still taste really good. But the mustard gives it that nice little zing. All right, after the mustard, we're going to put, I use 2 teaspoons of fresh oregano, minced, which just means finely chopped. You can use any kind of fresh herb you want: parsley, basil, cilantro, tarragon. So have fun with it. I'm growing oregano in my backyard, so I was happy to have this oregano. And then last, 1/2 teaspoon of dried granulated garlic. Sometimes people ask me, does it, what's granulated? Does it have to be granulated? No, it doesn't have to be. It can be minced or it can be powdered. I like granulated because it's like sand, and when I'm adding it to soups and stews and stuff, it doesn't clump like the powders do. So, my hands are feeling sticky. Let me rinse those off. So at this point, I think we can just use our fork and just mash it up. Did we do tuna salad last week? I think we did. It kind of looks a little bit like that. But we want to just mash it up. As I said, you can serve this on top of baked potatoes. You can use it as a dip for French fries or fresh cut up vegetables. I will often bring this with a plate of cut up veggies if I'm going to an event where I've been asked to bring a dish or an appetizer. I might add some grated ground black pepper to this. And you want to make sure you use avocados that are nice and soft, so it's easy to mash them all. Okay. If you're someone that likes hot and spicy, you could add some hot and spicy whatever to this, jalapeno, dried or fresh. You could add some red pepper flakes. Okay. That looks good. All right. So that is it. Let's put it in a cute dish. I've got a lot of cute dishes. There it is. It's kind of chunky. Doesn't that look good? All right. There's something on my phone here. Let me just close it. Doot. is low battery, but I'm plugged in, so I'm hoping for the best here. Okay. All right, so yum. I would eat this on anything, it's so good. If you eat bread and you make sandwiches, this makes a great sandwich spread. All right, oh, I should check the comments over here. Let's see. Hey, Wanda. Bring it up to the camera so we can see it. Okay, cute dish. Yes, have a lot of cute dishes. I find them pretty much all at the thrift store. Yeah, someone said they use their little chopper for the garbanzo beans. You could do that. If you have a little chopper, you could use a food processor. There's so many ways to do things. Mind blown. Okay. Watching from Ireland. You met my two sons. I remember them. I think if they're the same two Irish guys. We don't get two brothers from Ireland very often at True North, where I usually teach on Tuesdays. Yeah, I love working at True North because I meet the most interesting people from all over the place. If you guys don't know what True North is, you can Google it. It's a inpatient health center in Santa Rosa, California, where I've been teaching for 10 years. And I usually teach Tuesdays at 10 a.m. So that's why I've continued doing this at 10 a.m. on Tuesdays. So here, let me hold this up a little closer so you can see it. Okay. Well, let me get the barbecue sauce out. Put it in a cute dish as well. Here's the barbecue sauce. It's kind of steaming still, but see how the color, I don't know if you remember what it looked like in the beginning, but the color is deepened, it's a little darker, it looks more like traditional barbecue sauce. Okay, do this. We are doing good. Let's see. Next, we are going to move on to the spicy black bean salsa, which is on page 155 of the cookbook. This is another really easy recipe. So first, so this one is, as I said, super easy. We're just going to put everything into a bowl. It doesn't have to be a huge bowl. I think this bowl will work just fine. And we're just going to put it all in and mix it together. There's only one step. Put it in, stir it up. But let's go in order. 1 can black beans. So this is 1 can, about a cup and a half, drained and rinsed, cooked. Then we're going to put in 1 cup of corn. This is frozen organic corn that's thawed. Then we're going to put in 1 cup of chopped tomatoes. If you want to use cherry tomatoes or plum tomatoes and cut them in half, you can for sure do that. And this is a 1/4 cup, again with the finely chopped red onion. And if you don't like onion, leave it out. It's still going to be good. Recipes, my recipes, I guess I should just speak for myself. They're guidelines. If you want to go in a different direction, feel free to do so. This is just what I came up with, and sometimes I even change my own recipes later. Alright. Now I have a tablespoon of lime juice and lemon juice. I think this is funny. I made this recipe years ago. I don't remember why I did that. I must have had a reason. I thought it tasted more interesting with a little lime and a little lemon. So that's what I'm doing. But if you only had lime or only lemon, you could do that as well. Okay. This is a little bit of, let me look at this, chili powder, smoked paprika, and ground cumin that I already have measured out here. So that was 1 tablespoon lime juice, 1 tablespoon lemon juice, 1 teaspoon chili powder, a ½ teaspoon smoked paprika, or regular if you don't like smoked, and a ½ teaspoon ground cumin. And feel free to use any kind of spice combo that works for you. And last, 1 garlic clove that I chopped up pretty small. I didn't use my cool little garlic chopper for this because it was only 1 clove. I just used my little chef's knife. And we're just going to mix it all up. Now this is one of my very favorites to put on top of baked potatoes. You could put this on a green salad, a bed of spinach. It would be an easy way to just, like if you wanted to make double of this, keep it in your fridge, and then every day for a salad, just put any kind of greens down that you want and put some of this on top. That could be a meal. Corn and beans, that's nice and filling. Okay. And then what is this? How much does this make? This makes about 3 cups. So if you have a bigger family or you're going somewhere where there's a lot of people, go ahead and double the recipe. Oh, this looks so good. Okay. There we go. Isn't that pretty? The colors. If you want to add some, oh, I forgot. It's right here. I'm like, where's the green? I add cilantro. I'll just put it on top for now. You could use parsley. You could use no fresh herbs. But the green just adds a nice little look to it. Because we eat with our mouths and we also eat with our eyes. So even when we're eating alone, we want our food to look nice. It helps. All right. So there is that. Wanda, thank you so much. Chopped avocados and 1 chopped serrano pepper. Ooh. Yeah, you guys, do it the way that works for you. You don't have to do it exactly my way. Okay. Someone's posting my cookbook. Thank you. Andrea, yay. Hello. How do we get your cookbook? It's on Amazon. Oh, and that's probably why they're posting my cookbook, because someone asked. Yeah, it's on Amazon. If you don't want to buy it from Amazon, it's on my website. There's also digital versions. Oh, there's a post for True North. Yeah, a lot of people go to True North who have tried everything else for their health. And going to True North and changing their diet or doing a water fast is like their last ditch thing. But True North is a miraculous place. People really do heal there and just have a lot of fun there. Black beans for the barbecue sauce, a ½ cup. Okay. Hey, there's my sister. All right. Alrighty. Oh, can you show us how to make corn chips? Yeah, and the recipe for corn chips is in my book. I forget which page it is on. Maybe my friend who's moderating for me could post that, look it up, post it, or it's on my website as well. But with corn chips, you just buy the 6-inch corn tortillas. Again, kind of like the mustard and the tomato paste, you want to read the label and make sure it doesn't have a lot of oil and salt and stuff. You can get corn tortillas that just have lime, water, organic corn. Sometimes they have a little guar gum in it. Guar gum is a natural thing. It just helps it hold together in lieu of any oil or lard or anything like that. So you get your 6-inch tortillas. I usually stack 2 or 3 at a time, and I just cut it like a pizza. So it makes little triangular tortilla chip shapes. And then you put it on a cookie sheet, and you just, sometimes I broil them if I'm in a hurry. I just want to get it going. Or you can put it at 375, 400, and just keep an eye on them. I would say they take less than 10 minutes. Just keep an eye on them. You don't really want them to brown or just barely brown. If you bake them too long, they get too hard, and then it's like eating glass. So you'll, after you do it a couple times, you'll figure it out. But yeah, if you had those corn chips, homemade corn chips, that would be so good with any of this. Thank you for reminding me about the corn chips. Yeah, okay. So we've got all of our dips and sauces done here. Let's circle back to, okay, I just made a few chips here, French fries here, and you can, I hope you can kind of see that. You want them to brown and kind of bubble, they kind of puff up a little, and I'll show you how to cut these as well. Get out my French fry page here. And you can cook these anywhere from 375 to 400, 425. The higher the temperature, the faster it's going to go. You just want to keep your eye on it so that they don't burn. So I've baked these, so there's no oil, there's no salt on these. Sometimes people say, can we add, dried herbs and spices? You can, but when you have all this wonderfulness, you don't really need to. Plus, it kind of singes sometimes at that high heat. So I just do them plain. And also, I didn't do it today. I don't know why. I'll do some sweet potatoes with these russet and Yukon Gold potatoes. All right. So this is a Silpat. It's a silicone mat that can go in the oven. And the great thing about this is you can just pick it up. And it keeps your cookie sheet clean, and then you can just do this. Okay. Easy transfer. And then you just wash this, reuse it, or you can use parchment paper if you want. Let me test one of these for you, because that's always fun, right? So good. You won't even miss the deep friedness of French fries, especially when you have all this stuff to use with it. I also like mustard with my fries. I'm going to double dip because I'm at home by myself. Oh. And when you do make French fries, you want to eat them right after they come out of the oven, not what I did today. So as soon as they come out, just time it so you can serve them right away, because they do cool down kind of fast. I used Yukon Gold potatoes today. I used some russets in here. You can tell the Yukons are really yellow looking, and the russets are a little gray looking. Okay. I also wanted to mention that soon I hope to, I'm learning and figuring all this out, a way that I can show you more up close and clearly the stuff instead of just holding it out. So that is to come, so have no fear. I did want to show you some different types of potatoes because people always ask about the differences. So this is your good old russet potato. And I did use some of these with the fries. This is a Yukon Gold potato. These work great for fries as well. This is a half of a russet. This is called a Hana Yam. It's not a true yam. We don't really get true yams here in the US very much. So this is a sweet potato, but we call it a Hana Yam. These are Chef AJ's favorites. She always talks about how she loves the Hana Yams because the sweetness is just perfect. These have a white flesh inside, and I'd have to say these are one of my favorites as well. And then this is the Japanese sweet potato, which is kind of purpley pink, and the inside is white. I won't cut it because I'll use that later. And then this is a, what do they call this? No, they don't say. Yesterday when I went to my local store to get this, they just said red yams. And it's funny, I usually don't see these described as red yams. I see them described as garnet yams or, what's the other one? Jewel yams. So these have the orange flesh. So there's many more types beyond that. So you could have a different potato every day of the week. So I wanted to show you how I cut my French fries. I'm getting my low battery thing on my iPhone again, which is odd because I am plugged in. So should I go away all of a sudden, we'll just end it there. But let me check. Okay, everything seems to be plugged in. We're near the end anyway. If it should just cut out, then we'll be done. But let me show you real quick about how, this is a French fry cutter. It's on my website. It's less, I think it's like $20 or around there. It's got an insert for the big French fries that I made today, or there it comes with a little insert that makes more of the McDonald's style size French fries. So what we want to do is cut, if your potato is big, cut it in half, and then cut it in half again. There's a little chamber. You just stick your potato in the chamber. It doesn't have to be whole. If there's an end that's more pointy and round, you want to put that going out. It just goes through easier. And there it is. Whoop. Nice size French fries. So how easy is that? I don't know what to do with that. I'll put them right there. You can do that with any of these. If you do use this with a sweet potato, those sweet potatoes are much more dense. I would definitely want to cut this in quarters and put the pointy side going out. Don't forget about that, because if it gets stuck in there, it's a drag to get it out. So let me just check in here. Hana Yams taste like cake. Yeah, they're so good. Any tips for keeping a Silpat mat so nice and clean? Mine's only nice and clean because it's kind of new. And I haven't used one for long. Yeah, if you have an oven, a Breville Smart Oven air fryer, you can use that to make your fries too. Whew. It is hot. When will you be back at True North? I don't know. I'm hoping in July. Okay. Because I'd like to go back when we don't have to wear masks again. But this has kind of worked out well. Are potatoes baked first? No, they're raw if you're making the French fries. Not being able to teach at True North has forced me in a good way to learn about this video world, so that's a good thing. And then last, I just have some baked potatoes here. Let's see. Now, sometimes I'll bake potatoes whole, but most often I'll cut them in half first. I like this little, how it crusts up on the top. So this is a Hana Yam. This is another Hana Yam. And then I've got the Japanese sweet potato. I guess I'll be eating these for lunch today. And yeah. So I just cooked up one Hana Yam small and one Japanese sweet potato that I cut into quarters. I kind of like to cut them before I bake them because then I can eat them the next day or so, and they're just really handy like this instead of being in a big potato size. And then you could just take this anywhere. And there are instructions on the baked potato, how to do baked potatoes on page 104 of the cookbook. There's also a ton more ideas of what you can put on top of them. One of my favorite ways is to just put them like that, put some of this on top. Yum! I mean, this is like a great meal right here. Even just take it a step further, put some of this. Oh, so good. How about that? Isn't that beautiful? And this would be something you could serve to anybody. They don't have to eat like you do or eat plant-based or anything. I mean, if you put this in front of a friend or a family who doesn't normally eat this way, they wouldn't go, eh. They go, ooh, that looks beautiful. Look at all those colors. I'm familiar with all those things, and who doesn't like avocado? So anyway, I think